Now, in our first show, we talked about a dairy farmer, Alan Smith. He had swine flu and leukemia, and they wanted to pull the plug on him. But his family wanted to get him high doses of vitamin C, and the hospital was against that at the beginning. They fought the hospital and they won. We didn't do the show, we just gave out the link because we couldn't find the copyright owner. So you had a big part in that story. Can you share with our viewers that story?
Sure. I believe it was back in 2010. I might be off by a year, I'm not sure. But I believe it was Alan Smith's brother-in-law, I'm not exactly sure what the relation was, sent me an email and described what was going on with Alan Smith and said, what should we do? And quite honestly, I've gotten so many emails like that because I make my email address readily available in my books and everything, that I didn't expect anything to happen, but I said, you know, well, your family member needs to get intravenous vitamin C in as high a dose as possible, at least 50 grams, preferably more, and get it going and continue it until your family member shows a response. And then I didn't think a whole lot of it after that because it's another story, but the incredible medical suppression of vitamin C still keeps it from being routinely given, to my knowledge, in any hospital anywhere in the world. It's just given in clinics and in doctors' offices. Well, as it turned out, as you alluded, they got into a little bit of a political fight and a little legal fight, and lo and behold, to the New Zealand doctors' credit, they permitted it to occur. And I think they started out with 50 grams twice a day, 100 grams a day. Well, at the time they started it, Mr. Smith was already at a point where the doctors wanted to terminate life support, pull the plug, as we say. In addition to that, x-rays showed that his chest, what we call, was completely whited out. It was so filled with fluid and virus and disease that the x-ray didn't even normally penetrate the lungs anymore. Well, within 24 hours, the x-ray clearly was improving, and within roughly 36 hours, he started to show wakening, and his overall improvement was so dramatic, it became very apparent after 3 days, he was probably going to survive. Now, there's a little dark side to that story, too, because after he underwent this dramatic improvement, surreptitiously, the vitamin C was not discontinued, but it was decreased from 50 grams twice a day to 1 gram twice a day. Now, I don't know what the doctors were thinking. I do know that a lot of doctors resist any attempt in any fashion at all to be given advice, God forbid to be told what to do. And they seem to be more protective of that territory than just about anything else. Anyway, if there's another interpretation, I don't know what it is, but my interpretation of decreasing the vitamin C from 50 grams twice a day to 1 gram twice a day, rather than just continuing it, was because they were anticipating Mr. Smith would relapse and die, but they could say, but we still continued vitamin C. Otherwise, you keep it at the same dose. If you don't think it's having a positive effect, you discontinue it. But you don't take the dose that's having a profoundly positive effect and cut it down to about nothing, but technically continue it. That's my interpretation. Anyway, shortly after that, ironically enough, the 1 gram twice a day, all that did was slow his rate of recovery. He was still able to eventually become extubated and pretty much out of the hospital roughly 2 weeks after that. They also started, as soon as they got the tube out of him and he was able to start taking things by mouth, they put him on a special liposome encapsulated form of vitamin C as well, 6 grams a day, which also appears to have additional profound effects against virus.
Right? That was the family.
That was the family that did that. So he got started off with intravenous, he got followed up with the liposome encapsulated, and he made not only a 100% complete and total recovery, quite rapidly considering how long he had been sick for months, but they were also unable to find any signs of the leukemia they had discovered in him when this whole process started. So, and that occurred roughly 4 years ago now, and I can't tell you the number of emails I've gotten since then to saying, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my child's in the intensive care unit dying from this infection. Do you think I should give vitamin C? And I say, absolutely. And they can't get it done. And for some reason, there's still nobody in this country that's been willing to get a lawyer and fight the hospital and say, look, I don't care what you think, vitamin C is the safest substance on the planet, which it is, and there's clear evidence that it's beneficial, and it's not pricey. There is nothing exotic about this, and there is no reason at all for a truly ethical doctor to deny its use to anybody. But that's where we stand right now.
And that's most hospitals.
To my knowledge, that's all hospitals. Right. I know of no exceptions.